Hey everyone, it's Mandy and you've come to the show Simply Rent It, which is also the name of my business. I am your professional licensed rental consultant who has a deep passion for helping landlord investors save time, gain knowledge, and reduce risk without having to spend a ton of money hiring a full-time property manager. On this show, you'll learn all the tips and tricks you need for your investment property journey. Well, it's a new month, everyone. We are in April, which means it's time for the rental market update. And I plan to do this every month, so let's just get into what we're doing here in April. As everyone knows, we're under a pandemic, so there has actually been a lot of change. I'm surprised, which means that's good news for landlords. So I have my notes here, and let's get into it. So for April, there are currently 629 apartments listed for rent on Zillow. Last month, there was 749. So that means that a total of 120 units have moved. 120 apartments or homes have moved off the market. And I'm not sure if that means that owners were just removing them because of the pandemic. Not wanting to conduct any showings, waiting until all of this is done so we can do social distancing and respect your tenants if you have anybody in there, so you're not having to enter the home. So I'm not 100% sure what all of that means, but I can just give you what the numbers have here on Zillow. So 629 apartments available for rent in Ames, and there are currently 30 places for rent in Ames. Last month, there were 34 places for rent that were available to move into immediately. So I do believe that those probably 4 units did move off the market. And that's also good news for anybody that has anything that's available right now. I know with the university kind of closing down that a lot of students either moved home or found other living options off of campus, so that could contribute to those numbers that we saw this last month as well. And this market update was as of March 28th, according to Zillow. I'll get into the median prices here. They haven't really changed much. It looks like it's up about $5 in each category, minus the studio. The studio didn't see any change. So the $5 is kind of weird to me too, because if you look at the stats on it, it says that there was 0% change. So I don't really think that prices are moving up in price at all. I'm not sure what that meant that they did change. So for studio prices, the median price was $655 for a 1-bedroom. It was $755. A 2-bedroom was $855. A 3-bedroom was actually reduced from $1,050 to $1,000 a month, and that's probably true. Actually, that's a skewed number. Because a lot of places are having to rent per bedroom instead of as the whole unit, but still there may have been a price reduction for the places that are available for August 1st for the higher units, meaning 3 and 4 bedrooms or plus. So the 4-bedroom median price was $1,400 a month. And again, I think those are a little bit skewed because a lot of places are renting per room instead of the total unit price. Today, I also wanted to give you an update. I've been keeping a close eye on the website I mentioned in my last video, which is legal information and educational information from the Davis Brown law firm. And I will include the link here that has all of the information that I'm going to go over that was in their article. I would like to make a statement that this information is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not a lawyer and this is not legal information. Yes, I did get this information from a legal website that is a blog, but they also make a statement on there that it is for educational and informational purposes only. If you are seeking legal information, it's important that you seek legal counsel with a licensed attorney. So this is all information that is out there for the public. And it's important if you're a landlord to be up to date with the information that's out there and what's going on so you're not getting yourself into trouble. So on March 26th, Governor Reynolds instated a proclamation that will last until April 17th, but it's projected that it will last a little longer, which they state in summary just kind of stopped all of the proceedings that you were able to do for eviction proceedings currently. So there's also a federal moratorium out too that is currently going through July 25th. And this is a restriction that prohibits landlord owners or property managers from charging any type of late fee. And for unpaid rent, you're not able to charge any more late fees until the federal moratorium period is over. You may also not require that a tenant vacate a leased premises once the moratorium period has expired. You have to provide a 30-day notice to vacate and then provide them another 30 days to actually vacate the premises. So that may be quite frightening for some of you landlords that have tenants that don't pay rent on a regular basis, or if you were just getting close to evicting someone because of normal circumstances. This information is important for you to note, and it could be quite frightening for you, honestly. There are a few other things on this blog that I'm going to go over, just kind of summarize what they said, and I'll include the link below for you. I think it's important that you also go ahead and read it. And again, if you need to utilize any of this, it's very important that you seek legal counsel. So part of the other information that was on there stated that termination of leases for breach were not permitted. Meaning leases cannot be terminated for non-payment of rent, material non-compliance with the lease or rules, or otherwise under Iowa Code 562A, Section 27, or 562B, Section 25. And this is under the Iowa moratorium period. What should you do instead? Landlords should not send their regular legal notice that threatens eviction if you don't pay, since that's not allowed. You should modify your late notice. You can't be sending those legal 3-day notices, and you should instead send a reminder to pay the rent, according to this blog. And you're also recommended to send reminders that include a note stating that you're confirming all your rights to later evict based on such default. So it's really important that you modify your late notices to tenants right now until this is over, and if you wanted to, also express in there that once it is over, you'll follow the regular 3-day notice rules that do apply. Also in the blog, it talks about 2 exceptions to these rules, and one is if you have someone who is presenting clear and present danger or emergency evictions, and the other one is an eviction for squatters, and that can be found under Section 648, Section 1 in the Iowa Code. Okay, so another section of this blog talks about your right to continue to non-renew a tenant when their lease ends. And according to this moratorium, that is still permitted. So if you have a tenant that their lease is up and you would like to not renew to them for another year, you're still allowed to not renew to that tenant. You'll need to send them a notice stating that their lease has ended and they'll need to vacate. It's not the same thing as an eviction notice at all. You're allowed to do that, but if the tenant decides to fight it or hold over, you're not allowed to file for eviction to get them out. So that's kind of a big bummer. So hopefully you have a tenant that will cooperate with you if you're wanting to do something different with your property. whether that be get it ready for sale or find a new tenant. Okay, there were 2 suggestions for landlords on what to do for tenants that were not paying rent. And one was to set up a payment plan or ask them to sign something saying that, their rent is in deferment, like a deferment agreement, and have them sign a rent agreement plan. Again, if you're wanting to do this, I really suggest seeking legal counsel to do it if you've never done anything similar to this before. And the second one was they mentioned filing a money judgment, which I guess is still allowed, but that you should only pursue it in very limited circumstances. The hearings are currently scheduled on or after May 4th, and all of this is subject to change as well. So, honestly, I would not just file for a money judgment because somebody's not paying. Communication, again, is the key in all of this. So if you're being proactive and reaching out to your tenant, seeing what is going on, in the last video, I provided several resources where a tenant could obtain additional help for rent payments. Making sure that they know about those resources, just being proactive in your communication and keeping yourself up to date with knowledge and informing them and informing yourself of the rules and regulations that are ever changing in this pandemic. Okay, so the last few things that this blog covered were landlord options for later. So after this is over, after the moratorium period is over, they believe that you should have the right to send a 3-day notice to vacate that includes all past rent for any prior months. So again, once this is over, once this happens, if you do need to do that, please seek legal counsel. This is not legal information, and it's just educational and informational for you. I believe that it's important to educate yourself and keep yourself up to date on things when you're experiencing a pandemic like we are right now. Okay, so the other 2 things they mentioned, options for later, were again to file a money judgment, which is something you could do, and also provide that notice for eviction, but you have to wait, you have to give that 30-day notice, and then again allow them another 30 days to vacate the property. All this information is new. All of it is subject to change in the coming days. There's new rules coming out constantly, so the purpose of this video was to give you an update for what happened in the month of March and where we're at going forward in April, and also to update you on some educational and informational material that I was able to find from a law firm local here in Ames. So again, I will put that website below. They also referenced links where they got their legal information as well. So there are more things on there, including Iowa code, that you can research and look up yourselves to educate yourself some more. So I hope that everyone is doing well and staying safe. And remember to communicate with your tenants. Be proactive. That is the best thing that you can do for yourself. And I will see you again next week. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.